Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders. I think Kansas City under 11.5 is one of my favorite bets. Broncos 9.5, Chargers 9.5, Raiders 6.5. I'd probably go over Chargers, but the under on Kansas City. Remember, they were 11-0 in one-score games. Like recovering fumbles, regression is coming. Even if they go 8-3, nobody goes 11-0 in one-score games. Also, they're still trying to figure out their offensive line. Joe Tooney left, their best offensive lineman. And they don't, they're using somebody's backup at left tackle. They're an injury away in the O-line from being a complete mess. They're also getting older in key spots.
Yeah. Let's talk about this. Since I really like talking about this division, I'm going to do this all separately. So I'll just talk about the Chiefs right now, and then I'll make separate Broncos, Chargers, Raiders videos. I've been kind of consistent with my thought process for kind of these these projected win totals. With the Chiefs, sure, outside of maybe like a couple other injuries, especially to the line, and it really being a disaster for the Chiefs, I still think they're going to flirt around with this win total. I get it. They won all these close games, but to me, some of those close game wins were definitely just some good fortune, some good luck, taking advantage of another team that just can't get their act together, whether it be the Raiders, whatever, blocked kick Broncos, whatever. And that's understandable. You're not going to be able to rely on that again next year. And so you would say, like, okay, under normal circumstances, under more like competent, complete circumstances, you maybe lose those games. And I think that's a fair assessment. But at the same time, being able to win these close games and make such high level decisions, play calling, execution, really is completely because of Andy Reid and Spags, and then, by extension, Patrick Mahomes as well. So if they're able to just play close games, they're going to win plenty of those, just by virtue of Spags dialing up the perfect play at the right time, Andy Reid understanding the game plan and understanding what needs to be done in this fourth quarter to win, Patrick Mahomes being able to actually execute that and not go beyond himself and throw that terrible interception with 6 minutes to go in the fourth, right? Like those things are ultimately all why you end up winning a lot of these close games. So like you're gonna still continue to win. This projected win total really falls to me on how good are the Broncos, Chargers, and Raiders. I think the Raiders at 6.5 seems too low to me. And again, I think the Chargers are going to be better and the Broncos are going to be better. And so I don't think that the Chiefs come away from these divisions now essentially going, 6-0. I know they don't, necessarily go 6-0, but like I see real chances. It's 1-1 Broncos, 1-1 Chargers, 1-1 Raiders. That's 3 losses there now. And you're going to have to play the Eagles again. Who knows what that looks like? The Bills, the Ravens. There's going to be some tough games in there. That'll be really interesting to see kind of what all of this looks like. I also wonder, once upon a time, I would say that like even like a Bills versus Chiefs game, regular season game, really meant a lot. And now at this point, I feel like we've probably reached that part where it's just like, I don't even know anymore. Like, it's going to be a big game and we'll talk about it a lot and it'll be exciting and fun to watch and all of that. And of course the players are going to win. Josh Allen's going to want to win. Mahomes is going to want to win, all of that. But I still do think at this point, there's like a deeper understanding of like, yeah, it is only week 8. And I don't know if they're really going to pull out all the stops to try to win that game. Once upon a time, I would say that the Bills absolutely really want to win that game, and so do the Chiefs. So did the Chiefs. When the Chiefs lost the one game and Patrick Mahomes was freaking out and he was on the verge of tears because of the referee, like, you know they want to win. I mean, like, that's all the proof you need to know. That it's not just like, oh, just a regular season game. It doesn't matter. It matters more for the Bills than the Chiefs. Like, that's just not true. When you see Patrick Mahomes, like, absolutely go berserk, like, you can tell how much it matters. And I think there still is a continuation of that. But I feel like there still will be slightly less, you know, I don't know. I just think it'll hit ever so slightly different, especially if you have the belief of like, there's a 99% chance that we're going to see this team again in the playoffs. And so I just don't know how that now starts to change how the Bills call games, the Chiefs call games, et cetera, et cetera. And then it's just kind of like, you know, that also affects your win total. Little things like that. Like, I think the Ravens are still in the mode of like, we're going all in to beat the Chiefs in the regular season. I don't care if it's week 4 or whatever. Like, we are beating this team. We want to send a message, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think the Bills are in that frame of mind anymore. And again, it also depends on, are the Chiefs struggling? You know, their first matchup against the Broncos, did they lose? Did they lose to the Chargers? And now they play the Ravens. And now, like, winning that game, like, really matters to prove, hey, we're a top team. We're not going backwards. Like, I think there's a lot of momentum and narrative building around the Chiefs team itself. You know, especially coming off a Super Bowl loss, right? Having that bubble popped. They kind of have to rebuild their own narrative. They have to rebuild their own legend, you know, their own legendary story, their own myth. And I think that matters more for this whole projected win total. More so than just, is this team good enough? Because this is what Nick Wright constantly tried to talk about, and I always pushed back on, kind of like, you know, how hard are the Chiefs trying during the regular season? I argue very. They want to win these games. They're not just practicing during the regular season. But when you're going up against a Broncos team, a Chargers team, and a Raiders team, all 3 of those teams should take a legitimate step forward from last year. It's not a controversial statement to make. You could be the biggest Broncos, Chargers, Raiders hater. To think that they're not taking some sort of step forward from last year, I don't know what to tell you. And so therefore those games have to be harder. The real question is, are the Chiefs taking a step forward with them, or are they staying the same? And if they stay the same and everyone else is taking a step forward, you know. So Colin is really low on the Chiefs. I'm not as low on the Chiefs, mainly because what makes the Chiefs special, the real secret sauce, is coaching and Mahomes, and not the roster itself. So any of the guys that they have to replace people with, I believe that Andy and Spags will find a way to make those guys work. Now, will they be as potent as they have been in years past? You know, question mark. But Colin is like dead set on the Chiefs, like really sliding and really just, you know, borderline potentially looking like a mess and could really pop. And I think there's potential for that only if they get, you know, a concrete injury, like someone to the O-line. Like the O-line really does end up just being a swing and a miss for them. Or again, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, and I'm not going to, I talk about this on all the Chiefs videos and I don't want to keep talking about it, but like, you know, any of the potential suspensions or whatever, or injuries that they face, like, I think the Chiefs more than ever will be the least resilient than they've ever been. I think in years past, they've always been able to be incredibly resilient. Even less last year, they were incredibly resilient. I think their level of resiliency is weakened, not only just because of their own team internally, but because of now the division is better. It's a lot easier to be more resilient when you can, when you're playing, you know, Aiden O'Connell, you know, Drew Lock, you know, whoever, right? When you're playing teams and who you know, Nathaniel Hackett as the coach, like it's just, you know, you can count on those wins. You can count on getting players right in those games. That I don't think you're going to have that luxury. So it's going to be interesting. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? about the Kansas City Chiefs potentially going backwards, according to Colin Cowherd. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.